My intro video is not playing for some reason.
Welcome to Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. Be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. But first, I want to get into what yesterday was. Yesterday was Veterans Day. I thought it was interesting when I was over at Walmart a little bit ago. This little setup here that y'all see on the screen, a table, it's got a candle, it's got a rose. Now let me tell y'all what this was about. Go ahead and make it bigger. Sorry. This table is reserved to honor our brave and selfless American military members who have perished on the battlefield, those who have not been returned to us after being taken prisoner on foreign soil, and for those who went missing and have not found their way back home. This table is round to show the everlasting concern for our fallen and our missing. The table, set for one, is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her suppressors. The white tablecloth, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to the country's call to arms. The single red rose reminds us of the life of each of our fallen and the loved ones and friends who miss them each and every day. The vase is tied with a red ribbon, a symbol of our continued determination to remember our fallen and find our missing. The slices of lemon on the plate, I guess I see it to the far left over there, on the plate is to remind us of the bitter fate of those who will never return. A pinch of salt on the plate is to remind us of, symbolizes the tears endured by the friends and families of those who have fallen and of those who have not returned. The inverted wine glass. I'm sorry I didn't show that, I guess. They cannot toast with us at this time. The empty chair. They are no longer with us. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home from their captors to the open arms of a grateful nation. Figured that was important to share with y'all. Please take a moment to think about what they had done for our country. I want to thank everybody who is still with us today for and have served and are serving in our military to keep our country safe. May God bless you and continue to take care of you and to support you, you and your loved ones and your family. Thank you so much. Without further ado, let's get to the next. This QR code, if it's y'all see it up there, you can scan it and it'll help you to where you're able to see my book and be able to buy it easily. A lot of people say, how do I go about buying your book? Born and Live in Hell, version 2.0. That's how you do it. Just scan that QR code and that should help. This story today really infuriates me. I guess it should infuriate us all. I'll just minimize this a little more so I can see better. So, I hope everyone's. Hello, Chris. It's so good to see you. Hello, who else here? Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Said all defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty. I hate saying that for some of these predators, but we do have to say this. Trigger warning. Excuse me. So without further ado, let me share with y'all. I had to share different let's get here. So this is a brief continuation of our coverage on Christopher Chase Porter, born April the 21st, 1986, of Marion County, Alabama, who is facing numerous child sexual abuse charges with a child under 12. This is case CC2025 9000. It's 4 zeros there and 3. And Porter faces 8 charges, of which you will find details in our prior post. He has been free on $390,000 bond through Sam's Bail Bonds. When he was arrested in 2024, Christopher Chase Porter was a youth leader at Bethel Apostolic Church in WINFIELD, Alabama, a legally affiliated United Pentecostal Church where Mark Moore was pastor since his arrest. The church has openly welcomed and supported him. In mid-June, Mark Moore became ordained by the UPCI, rising up from a general license. He then resigned as pastor of Bethel Apostolic Church in late July, and on September 4, 2025, the Alabama district posted that the church was seeking a new pastor. Attached are screenshots. On July the 29th, the Moores put their home up for sale, which was built in 2022, and it sold on September the 6th, 2025. They also put their other home up for sale on July the 31st, and it sold on August the 29th, 2025. In addition, they also listed their rental homes for sale. It is alleged that Mark Moore was fired from his position at Continental Global. Chase Porter's trial was supposed to start on September the 8th, 2025, but was postponed. Today, the judge set November 12th, 2025 for a plea hearing and December the 1st, 2025 for the trial. A screenshot of the order is attached. There's more which could be shared about the case, but with being inundated with cases to cover, I'm only posting the brief update for now. I have by no means forgotten about it. As always, a search may be performed on this page to find any prior post on an individual or issue. But here is a bigger picture of him. Threats of rape in the first, sodomy in the first, sexual abuse, child less than 12. This was to his stepdaughter that he did these actions. Congratulations, newly ordained minister. It's got Mark Moore as being pastoral opening. That's where WINFIELD, in that area there. So let's close this one out and share this. I know it's going to make everybody mad. It should make everybody mad. It should be infuriating. Share screen. Let's get this right here. Christopher Chase Porter, a former youth minister at Bethel Apostolic Church in Winfield, Alabama. He was a youth minister, y'all. Is walking free and still attending the church, sources claim. Just like many others accused of heinous crimes against children, despite facing multiple charges of child sexual abuse, rape, and sodomy, Porter has not been convicted. His case is moving slowly through the system, highlighting how the long, drawn-out process can often feel like justice delayed, and for survivors, justice denied. Porter was arrested on July the 16th, 2024, and charged with first-degree rape, enticing a child for immoral purposes, 3 counts of sexual abuse of a child under 12, 2 counts of first-degree sodomy. He was taken into custody by the Winfield Police Department SWAT team and booked into Marion County Jail with a bond set at $310,000. But despite these grave allegations, Porter is not currently behind bars. Sources claim that Porter intends to plead not guilty and may not even appear at his own arraignment, raising concerns about accountability and transparency. A representative from Bethel Apostolic Church commented that they had no reason to believe the alleged abuse occurred on church property, offered no further acknowledgement or support for the victims or community. It don't matter whether it happened on church property or not. Am I right or wrong? You don't let somebody like this stupid predator be over our children. Youth minister over our children. What are you going to do? Continue to let him mess with your kids and that's going to be okay? Boy. Stop sharing that. So let me go over here to my mail. I'll show y'all something else. Go back over here to my mail. I'm going to find the one about Chase Porter. There's more information in here which I want to share with y'all. Please get the word out. Okay, that's right. They should not pray. And I want to thank the reporter for getting this out. The evil of youth minister Christopher Chase Porter. In July 2024, Marion County authorities arrested Christopher Chase Porter, a youth leader at Bethel Apostolic Church, on 7 counts of child sexual abuse involving his stepdaughter, who was under the age of 12. His arrest rallied the community, but it's only the beginning of a case marked by shocking allegations and a troubling pattern of judicial leniency. At first, Porter faced 2 separate cases with bonds totaling $310,000. His wife quickly filed for divorce, citing abuse of his daughter, while his church rallied around him. Allegations soon spread that the pastor's wife had posted his bond, and despite the charges, Bethel Apostolic continued busing in children to church events, with Porter still closely tied to the congregation. By December 2024, a grand jury indicted Porter, combining the cases into CC 2025-90003 and adding an additional charge. He now faces 8 charges in total: rape, sodomy, sexual abuse, enticing a child, and incest. His bond was increased to $390,000. Prosecutors attempted to hold him without bond under Anna's law, but the judge the judge, okay? In a few minutes, I'm going to give y'all, see if I got the address for that judge where people can write, okay, an email. So make sure you got a pen and paper out, okay? All right? But the judge denied the request, one of several decisions that raised alarms about the court's handling of the case. That leniency continued in other rulings. Investigators were denied a warrant to seize Porter's cell phone. Can you believe that? He would not let the investigators have Porter's cell phones. They blocked timely access to potential evidence. Thank you, Judge. Are you in on this too? Are you a predator? Your son was a predator. He was even allowed to reside in the family home for 3 days, unsupervised, before the court finally approved a warrant to collect bedding. Even more concerning was Porter's bond conditions do not restrict him from being around minor children, despite the fact that all charges against him involve the sexual abuse of a child. In January 2025, Porter was found in contempt of court for refusing to sign a quitclaim deed, yet the judge declined to enforce consequences. Despite video evidence showing Porter left Alabama on 3 separate occasions in direct violation of his bond agreement, the judge again spared him from jail, issuing only a warning. Each instance reinforced a pattern. No matter how many times Porter disregarded court orders, the consequences never followed. So the judge needs disbarred. The judge needs to lose her license. She needs to go to jail himself. Meanwhile, Porter's personal and professional life fueled more controversy. Initially suspended from his job after his arrest, after he later worked nights for a cleaning company, contracted with Continental Global, where Bethel's pastor Mark Moore was site manager. After public complaints, Continental canceled the contract in November 2024. Moore himself was soon fired and later resigned from Bethel Apostolic Church, leaving the congregation without a pastor. Despite facing such serious charges, Porter allegedly began a relationship with Donna Porter. You notice that's Porter. Got the same last name. Then director of Weldy Home for Girls. I kid you not. Donna Porter was the director of Weldy Home for Girls, a residential facility for troubled youth. She was terminated from her position in May 2025 after the relationship became Porter, because I had read somewhere that Porter was allowed to stay in that home with Donna Porter around those girls. Okay, I kid you not. Porter is now reportedly employed with Kith Kitchens in Haleyville, Alabama. It is alleged he often keeps Donna's 5-year-old daughter while she travels to Jasper for work, something made possible only because a judge never imposed restrictions to protect children. What's wrong with this picture, people? The fallout for Porter's estranged wife and children has been severe. Since July 2024, they have been forced into hiding for their safety, living under constant fear while Porter continues to walk free. Court records show he was ordered to continue making payments on the family vehicle, but he defaulted. While his wife and children were inside a Walmart buying groceries, the car was repossessed in the parking lot. She was forced to pay nearly $2,000 out of pocket just to get the vehicle back so she and her children would not be left without transportation. Legally, Porter first had a court appointed lawyer, but later retained private attorney Lonnie Dwight Spann. And you see it spelled Lonnie right here, but he also goes by Lonnie Lonny. Oh, sorry, this might be somebody else. This other Lonnie, sorry, but Lonnie reportedly funded by outside supporters on May 14, 2025. He filed a non-guilty plea and waived arraignment. His next court hearing was originally scheduled for August the 27th, 2025, with a jury trial set for September the 8th, 2025, but both were continued due to plea negotiations. As of now, no new dates have been set. The through line in Porter's case is clear. While the charges against him grow heavier and the damage to his family deepens, the judge has consistently chosen leniency over accountability. From bond violations to contempt of court, and even the absence of restrictions keeping him away from the children. Porter has walked away with warnings instead of consequences. The result is a family in hiding, a community on edge, and growing doubts over whether justice will ever truly be served. Glenda Chumley, if you want to help get this to trial and help the victim get justice, please email this to mark.hammitte, HAMMITTE, at allacourt.gov. Here is a copy of the letter. And if anybody can reach out to me and want a copy of the letter, I'll be glad so that y'all can forward it in your names as well to support and send this to the judge. Dear Honorable Mark Hammett, concerns regarding judicial rulings in the case of State of Alabama versus Christopher Chase Porter. Dear Judge Hammett, I write to you with grave concern and deep disappointment regarding your rulings in the ongoing case of State of Alabama versus Christopher Chase Porter. The details in this case are both disturbing and heartbreaking, yet the court's handling of it has raised serious questions about whether justice is truly being served and whether children in Marion County are being adequately protected. Mr. Porter was arrested in July 2024 on multiple counts of child sexual abuse against his stepdaughter, who was under 12 years old at the time. Since then, the charges have only grown more severe, including rape, sodomy, sexual abuse, enticing a child, and incest. Despite the gravity of these allegations, a troubling pattern of leniency has emerged from your courtroom. Among the most concerning decisions are: 1. Denial of prosecutors' request under Anna's law to hold Mr. Porter without bond despite the seriousness of the charges. 2. Failure to impose bond conditions prohibiting contact with children, even though every charge involves the sexual abuse of a minor. 3. Allowing Mr. Porter to remain in the family home for several days before investigators were permitted to seize potential evidence. And still, they didn't let him have the phone, right? Repeated tolerance of bond violations and contempt of court where Mr. Porter received only warnings instead of meaningful consequences. Decisions that have effectively enabled Mr. Porter to continue associating with minors, including allegations that he regularly cares for a young child while facing these charges. Meanwhile, his estranged wife and children have suffered immeasurably. Forced into hiding for their safety, they live under fear and financial strain while Mr. Porter enjoys freedom typically denied to those facing such serious accusations. This imbalance is not only unjust, it's dangerous. Judge Hammett, your rulings in this matter send a message that repeated violations, contempt of court, and even direct threats to child safety can be excused without accountability. This undermines both public confidence in the judicial system and the safety of the most vulnerable members of our community. With all due respect, I urge you to reflect on the weight of these decisions and the precedent they set. The people of Alabama rely on the courts to protect children, uphold justice, and ensure that those accused of heinous crimes are held to the highest standards of accountability. In this case, that trust feels deeply shaken. Justice requires more than warnings. It requires actions. The community deserves to see that the safety of children takes precedence over leniency toward an accused predator. So sign your name. Here it is. Here's pictures of him bigger. Y'all can see. Okay, so let's close this one out. Hey, our bucket list. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. So let's go to the next one. So this was youth minister arrested for multiple abuse charges Wednesday, July 24, 2024. This is myjuniorpaper.com by Luke Brantley, staff writer. This is Winfield, Alabama. Christopher Chase Porter, 38, of Gwynn, was arrested on Tuesday night, July the 16th, on multiple charges related to the sexual abuse of a minor. Porter, who was a youth leader at Bethel Apostolic Church in Winfield at the time, was met with 7 charges, which include first-degree rape, enticing a child to enter, 3 counts of sexual abuse of a minor less than 12, and 2 counts of sodomy in the first degree. A spokesperson from the church said they had no reason to believe any of these alleged acts took place in the church building, but did not comment further. Well, it don't matter whether it happened in a church building or not. Who agrees with me there? It don't matter where the heck it took place. This person was around children, regardless, right? Regardless, okay? According to the Winfield City Police Department, they received a call from an individual who reported the alleged crime as soon as it was brought to their attention. Winfield police went to work right away to go through the proper steps to make what could have been a dangerous search and arrest. After interviewing them, we had enough to have the warrants issued, and because they were felony warrants, Winfield SWAT team actually executed the search warrants, and he was arrested on County Highway 4 in Winfield at a traffic stop, said criminal investigator Justin Cottingham. They set up and waited for him, and they were able to identify him. The SWAT team took him into custody there. Porter was booked at the Marion County Jail and is currently being held on 30 on 10 bond. No, he's not. He's out. We already know that, right? Cottonhead said it appeared the alleged bleep has been going on for some time, but it's reported as soon as a child involved came forward. So she came forward. So police could not go into more detail about the case since minors were involved. If convicted of the multiple felony charges against him, Porter could be facing serious jail time. First-degree rape and sodomy are both Class A felonies under Alabama state law, and each could be punishable by law or anywhere between 10 and 99 years in prison. Sexual abuse of a child less than 12 is a Class B felony, which could incur a prison sentence between 2 and 20 years. His enticing a child to enter charge refers to Alabama Criminal Code Article 4, Section 134A 669, which criminalizes uh, enticing a child to enter vehicle, house, etc. for immoral purposes. Enticing a child. So let's go to the next thing here. I'm going to go to listen at this. Share screen. So that video ready. Here we go.
That just breaks bread with Jesus, but yet never had the full committed relationship. In church, we have to be careful because it happens among us daily. That these
And trying to get it bigger, you know.
This is a distraction. This distraction is to keep you from getting the glory that you're in. The glory that he's wanting to serve you. The glory where he's wanting to touch you. So where he's wanting to break revival out in your city. We cannot allow the Judas to rise up in our church. Right now, we are in revival out in your city. Right now, we've got a community that needs to be touched. It's going to be touched by this church.
Wow, can y'all believe that? One more thing. It is sickening, ain't it? Okay, let's see. And I wanted to see what the AI was said. It said current status, legal proceedings. Porter has been indicted by a grand jury and faces 8 charges. He entered a plea of not guilty. A plea hearing is scheduled for today, November the 12th, 2025, and a jury trial is set to begin on December 1st, 2025. If they don't arrest him and put him in jail today, I'm going to be really mad. How about y'all? Custody is currently out on a $390,000 bond through Sands bail bonds. There have been concerns raised about him not being in custody, as some consider him a danger to society. Well, a lot of us do, right? How many of y'all consider him to be a danger to society for our children? Me. Employment Association. He was fired from the general manager position at Continental, and the pastor who supported him resigned from the church. Allegedly, he has been living with another woman and is still legally married. Background. Arrest details. Porter, 38 at the time, was arrested on July the 16th, 2024. Church involvement. He was a youth leader at Bethel Apostolic Church, a legally affiliated United Pentecostal church. Since his arrest, sorry, somebody's trying to call me. Since his arrest, reports indicate the church has continued to openly welcome and support him, a situation that has caused concern in the community. Victim support. A GoFundMe has been started for the victim to help cover costs for therapy, counseling, legal fees, and daily living expenses. So there is a GoFundMe. I wish I knowed how to find it. You had find it or whatever, and I think that would help out if we did. But without further ado, just want to get this information out there to you all. Don't drop the soap. That's right. You got that right. Yeah, you too, huh? Is that sickening, y'all? This is pathetic. The way our judicial system is doing this, right? I want to thank everybody for coming in. I appreciate y'all. I just had to get this out. This is another. Well, no. A lot of people will be saying things like, "Where's the wood chipper?" Right? And I had seen another person talking about that. Even if you use the castration method, that's still not going to stop people from the mindset that they have of being sexually. They use other items. They use other items. Okay, they won't just use their genitalia. Use their hands. I'm a victim of that myself. They use dolls on me. They use bottles on me. Okay, I know that firsthand experience. They don't care. They're diabolical. Well, thank you all for coming in. And this has been another episode of Child Abuse Awareness, getting the story out with uh, bad preachers, with churches who support pedophiles. So please continue to support. Let's stay in the know about this jerk, since it's his hearing supposed to be scheduled today on what she's going to do. He's going to do. I think that since that judge has been so lenient with him, I think it needs to be given to a different judge. What y'all say? I really believe it needs to be somebody else. And I believe this judge, since Alabama's got some new laws concerning the sexual abuse, where they could end up death row, life in prison. This guy with sodomy, he's got a possibility of life in prison, and yet she let him out on bail, let him out on bond. What's up with that? I mean, I would keep saying she, sorry, but he let him out on bond. Is he a part of this apostolic religion? Is he a part that's getting paid off from these organizations? What's going on with this? Who's going to stand up for this girl? Who's going to stand up for these other girls? Why are you being like the people in Franklin, Tennessee that would not protect Gracie and Grant Solomon? Y'all sided with Aaron Solomon. This is horrid, despicable, and I blame the judge for not going further. I blame the church for not going further. You'll get big boos. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself, because y'all are not going by the Bible. Y'all want to say you're going by the Bible, but the Bible says whoever harms one of these little ones, it's better to tie a millstone around your neck and throw yourself in the depth of the sea than to harm one of these. So excuse me, if y'all want to go by and keep doing against God, because basically you're false teachers when you go like this and you support these people. Shame on you. Shame on y'all for letting these people continue to harm our innocent children. God bless y'all. Thank you so much for coming.